The Samsung Galaxy S27 Ultra leak is one of the first times in years that an Ultra phone actually sounds like it's changing in ways you'll notice every day. Not just adding a slightly faster chip and calling it a generation. If the current rumors are even close to accurate, the Galaxy S27 Ultra could be Samsung's biggest meaningful leap since the early Ultra era, especially for camera quality and device AI performance, battery efficiency, and security. So in this video, we're breaking down everything leaked and rumored about the Samsung Galaxy S27 Ultra, the near 1-inch 2nm camera sensor, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 6 Pro built on 2nm. The world-first standard jumped to LPDDR6 RAM, the redesigned S Pen with magnetic wireless charging, the new Polar ID secure face recognition, the anti-peeping privacy display, and the AirDrop-style cross-platform file sharing that finally makes Samsung iPhone sharing less painful. And before we start, this is based on leaks and early reports, so treat it like a roadmap, not a guarantee. Specs can change, features can be region-locked, and Samsung always keeps a few surprises for launch. But even with that said, the direction here is clear. Samsung wants the Galaxy S27 Ultra to feel like a new chapter. Let's start with the headline feature, because it's the one that's going to dominate search results and camera comparisons the second the phone drops. The Galaxy S27 Ultra camera, the leak points to Samsung, using a near 1-inch to OMP main sensor rumored as the ISOCELL HP6 with low-fic technology. In plain English, this is about two things that actually matter. In real photos, more light and more dynamic range. A bigger sensor can capture more light, which usually means cleaner, low-light photos, less noise, faster shutter speeds at night, and better detail when lighting isn't perfect. And dynamic range is what keeps your sky from turning into a white blob while still keeping the shadows detailed instead of crushed and muddy. The rumor also mentions advanced HTech, often referenced in leaks as LIIC or LAFIC HD improvements. Samsung pushing the sensor and processing to hold on to highlights and shadows in the same shot. If you've ever taken a photo where the background is bright but the subject is darker and your phone can't decide what to expose for, this is the fix. And it's not just for landscapes. This is for indoor photos, concerts, restaurants, backlit portraits. In any situation where lighting is complicated, if Samsung gets this right, the Galaxy S27 Ultra isn't just another 200MP phone. It becomes the phone people buy specifically because they want a camera that competes with dedicated cameras in the situations. Smartphones usually struggle. Harsh sunlight, nighttime street scenes, indoor mixed lighting, and motion. And it's not only the main sensor. The leaked spec list also suggests an upgraded 5nm ultrawide camera, which is a big deal because ultrawide cameras are often the weak link in flagship phones. People use ultrawide for travel, real estate style shots, group photos, and creative perspectives. So if Samsung boosts ultrawide quality to match the main sensor better, that's a huge practical upgrade. Then we've got the telephoto setup. The rumors point to a dual telephoto system, a 1OMP3X lens and a 50MP5X periscope. If that's true, Samsung is sticking with the idea that real zoom needs real lenses, not just digital cropping. And the big win here would be consistency, better detail, and less of that watercolor look when you zoom in, especially in indoor lighting or cloudy conditions where phones often fall apart. But here's the thing, people. Forget, camera hardware is only half the story. The other half is the chip. And the Galaxy S27 Ultra leak is basically screaming performance upgrade. The device is rumored to run on the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 6 Pro, sometimes labeled Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro, built on TSMC's 2nm process. The reason 2nm matters isn't because it sounds cool. It's because smaller manufacturing can deliver better performance per watt. That's the holy grail, not just faster, but faster without draining the battery or overheating. That matters for everything: gaming, camera processing, 4K or 8K video, multitasking, and especially device AI features that are becoming a huge part of Samsung's One UI experience. If Samsung is serious about pushing AI features that run locally, faster photo enhancements, smarter voice tools, real-time translation, generative edits, then efficiency matters as much as raw speed. Nobody wants AI if it means a hot phone and a battery that collapses by mid-afternoon. And then there's the RAM. Rumors 16GB LPDDR6. That's massive. Not just in capacity, but because LPDDR6 would be a new performance class for memory bandwidth and efficiency. More bandwidth helps with heavy multitasking, faster app switching, and AI workloads that need quick access to data. And if this is truly world's first standard adoption for on-device AI in an Ultra phone, Samsung is positioning the S27 Ultra not as a camera phone that also does it, but as an AI powerhouse that also happens to be a top-tier camera phone. Now let's talk about the screen, because Ultra phones live and die by the display experience. The leak suggests a 6.9-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X panel with 2,600 plus nits, peak brightness, and a 1 to 120 Hz LTPO refresh rate. If those numbers are real, you're looking at one of the most readable screens in direct sunlight. With adaptive refresh to keep battery use under control, a bright display doesn't just look better, it's a quality of life feature. It affects maps outside, filming video, checking messages in the sun, and everything you do when you're not sitting indoors. One of the more interesting leaked details is the bezel-less Infinitio with privacy display concept, basically anti-peeping display tech. If Samsung actually bakes anti-shoulder surfing privacy into the panel itself, that could be a sleeper hit feature for commuters, office environments, and anyone who works in public spaces. The key question is how it works. Does it reduce viewing angles only when enabled? And does it hurt brightness or color accuracy? If Samsung can make it optional and clean, it's a genuine innovation. If it's always on and compromises image quality, people will turn it off and forget it exists. Now let's hit battery and charging, because these are the features that decide whether a phone is great or annoying long-term. The Galaxy S27 Ultra is rumored to have a 5,200 mAh to 5,500 mAh battery using new silicon carbon high-density tech. Silicon carbon batteries are one of the most exciting battery trends because they can increase energy density without making the phone thicker. Translation: more battery life. Potentially same-size phone. Pair that with a more efficient 2nm Snapdragon and potentially better display efficiency, and you could see a real jump in real-world endurance. Not 15 minutes better, but potentially the kind of improvement where heavy users end the day with comfort instead of panic.